Hi class, we need to take a look at problem 9. And in problem 9, we have several expressions and they want us to write a sentence. Now, because you just have an expression, we typically declare the variable as being a number. And in this case, well, one way to write this expression is 5 being subtracted from a number or any sentence along those lines. So what I wrote here is 5 subtracted from a number. Technically, x here, it's a variable and it hasn't been stated as what is going to be taking place of the x's. So it could be ages, it could be money. We simply are not given that information. So the standard is let x be a number. And then from there, you write the sentence. Notice that by order operations, if you have a number, you're always subtracting 5. Now, let's take a look at B. And B is technically backwards. So on problem B, what you technically have here is the number being subtracted from 5. So since it's technically a different problem, we're also declaring the x, what it represents. And then in this case, a number subtracted from 5. Notice that the number, in this case, your x's, is what represents the unknowns. That's actually it for A and B. Other sentences are possible since basically the instructions just say to write a sentence. You could rewrite it in any format. You could just not say a number and declare it as an age and then go from there. Let's move on to C. Now, in problem C, we have the same scenario, but here's a multiplication. So here you would simply say let x be a number, and the sentence would be twice a number. And that's pretty much it. And C is not to be confused with D, because in C, what we're doing here is having a multiplication of 2 times a number. On D, it's the number times itself, or in this case, a number squared or the square root of x. It all depends on how you're actually writing it. But there is a difference between C and D. Here, whichever number you're getting, you're multiplying it times itself. And then on C, you're multiplying it times 2. That's it for C and D. Really short since we're not given restrictions on what x could be. Now, E, you could write it in multiple formats, but the basic idea here is that you're adding 4 to the result of 2 twice a number. So the way that we write the sentences are involving order operations. So here, by order operations, you would first multiply times to the number, then add 4. So that's why in the sentence, one way to write it is 4 added to twice a number. So you have to make sure that you're emphasizing that the 4 gets added after the multiplication of the number times 2. And this one is also a little bit confusing on F, because on F, what you have here is by order of operations, first the sum of x and 4, then the resulting value you're going to multiply times 2. So one way to write the sentence is twice the sum of 4 and a number. And it is slightly different than E. Keep in mind that on E, there is only by order operations the multiplication of 2 times the number and not 2 times every value inside of it. Lastly, the last comment I wanted to make here is that there are multiple ways of writing the sentences, so these are not unique. You may look at the author and they have other ways of writing the same or coming up with the same answer. That's it for this set of problems.